Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. This episode is brought to you by Arctic Food Equipment. I'm not sure where to start with this one. I wish I could say that I'm sitting in the most highly anticipated restaurant in the 417, but if you're me, I'm sitting in the most unexpected, where did this come from? This must have grown out of the ground restaurant that I've ever been in my life. I am sitting at a table in the table with the founders, the owners, who just opened it like 4 days ago, Sheri Perkins and Renee Textor. This place is absolutely gorgeous. Where do I even start with this? Whose idea was it to look at a giant concrete silo or grain something, I don't even know what you call this thing, and say, you know what, people will come eat there, let's build a restaurant? Who started this party?
Well, it's like, I don't think we started it. We like to say it kind of chose us, because we had talked about doing a restaurant, doing something together. And the first time we started looking at property, we were driving and actually looking at this building right behind us that's a church now, thinking it would be the perfect spot, and then I realized it was sold when we pulled in the driveway. And so we pulled the car around and turned around and saw the grain silo, the biggest one, and thought, really? Maybe that could be? So pulled into the driveway and looked at, sure enough, it was for sale. And we never turned back since then. It just kind of, we like to say it chose us.
So you had your eye on this part of town to begin with, right smack in the middle of Springfield, Missouri. Renee, tell me about that. What did you think?
Well, we knew when we wanted to start this venture that we wanted to stay true to our roots. We were raised by a single mom. We started out on the north side. We love Springfield. We love all of Springfield, but we drove by these silos our whole life with our mom after work and school and stuff, and just always was wondering what it could be. So it's amazing that we got these silos, but we did want to stay in this area. We really wanted parking. It's very hard to get parking in Springfield downtown. Lots of people said we could not find that because it's already built out, but choosing this property also allowed us to have about 40 plus parking spaces, and a green space. So mostly we picked this space because we just wanted to be in this area.
I just want to tell you that I drive up and down National all day. I've lived on the north side since I moved to town in '97, and I don't ever look this direction because you see these giant silos. There was a gas station on the corner. There's an auto shop over here. There's just not a lot to see. I mean, no offense to the people around here, but there's just not a lot to see, right? So I'm driving north on National. I look to the east one day and I'm like, wait a minute, do I see a black and white awning? What? Surely, that was a mirage. Like, I couldn't have seen that. And then all of a sudden, I start seeing reports of this absolutely stunning restaurant that was not on my radar at all. What is the reaction you're getting?
We are getting such a reaction, honestly. We just had decided, and we talked about it, let's just open quietly. We don't want to do a grand opening. We want to get our feet under us. And we haven't sought any publicity. We haven't sought any advertisements. And the community has just rallied. And we are so grateful. We just are honestly in shock. We had a ribbon cutting. We gained thousands of followers overnight. The lines have been to the door. The community has just come together. And we've said from day one, before we even broke ground, we just want to make Springfield proud. We love Springfield. And from the response, it feels like maybe we've made Springfield proud.
You've made Springfield really proud. And so it wasn't just me. You didn't start the party with a lot of fanfare here at all. I had heard that maybe somebody someday was going to put a restaurant here, and then I just kind of let it go because I thought, well, we'll see if that happens. But I didn't even know it was underway. When did you purchase this property?
We purchased this property in the end of May, beginning of June of 2022. We bought it from a guy who, him and another businessman they wanted to do some like Las Vegas style lofts in this silo, but they never got off the ground, and then that guy retired and was moving to Florida. So, it was just perfect timing.
Sheri, I got to ask you guys, is the building that we're sitting in right now where the restaurant is, was it here?
No, we did a new build. I think it turned out bigger and more than we imagined when we started, but we did a new build. Did you already talk about wanting to do something in the silo, but we were not able to do that. It was going to be too big of a project, or it's structurally sound, but if we start, we're not unsure how much we can do in there and keep it structurally sound. So we pivoted, and we decided to do a new build and started that about a year ago.
Okay, you just asked your sister if she had answered that question because you got called away from the table or you went to greet people, because we're in the middle of a very busy, vibrant, working, brand new restaurant, and you two are taking the time to sit down with me, which is stunning. That was my next question, though. What about the silo? I mean, after we ate lunch here, my husband and I went walking over there, and he was looking up at that thing going, what if it falls down? I said, dude, it's not fallen down for over 100 years.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's not going to.
Through tornadoes, through everything, through a fire. Actually, there was a fire in it. We would love to develop that someday. We're going to have to recover from this first, but we would love to develop that someday into something. It is perfectly sound. We had to figure that out at the very beginning, that it was sound. So, but we would love to develop something there someday.
I would love for you to do that too. I have all sorts of ideas. But
People do, yeah.
I'm sure they do. What did you do? You grew up in Springfield. You born and raised here? Mm-hmm. What did you do?
We were born in Kentucky, but our mom moved us here in 81. When I was 7, she was 8. So yes, this is home for sure.
Okay, what did you do before you got into the restaurant business?
Well, I've been home with my, helping take care of my grandbabies for the last 12 years. Before that, I worked at a credit union, and I worked at accounting in the accounting department at Panera Bread for 7 years. Oh. When my oldest daughter got pregnant, her and her husband, they were not in a place really to stay home. They wanted to pursue their careers, so I left my career to stay home. She's a teacher, and so I was watching grandbabies for the last 12 years. So my youngest grandson just started kindergarten last year, so it was perfect timing for me to jump back in and do something.
Okay, Renee, you clearly have nothing going on. Grandbabies running everywhere, but I don't know, I'll open a restaurant. All right, Sheri, what about you? What did you do before?
For the majority of my life, I worked on the pastoral team of a church in town and or worked in ministry.
Mm-hmm. Have you always, you're looking at each other like, this is the fun part. Mm-hmm. At what point did you go, I love to eat, I'm assuming. Let's open a restaurant. Where did that come from?
We definitely are foodies. We love that. We actually also have traveled a lot together through our lives and always looking for, we have a rule when we travel that we won't eat anywhere we have at home, no chains or anything like that. We love to seek out new restaurants. It's creative places, inspiring places. So we've done that a lot together. But I just had a career change 3 years ago, and we decided it was time. Like she said, her grandbabies are old enough now that she wasn't so needed. And with my career change, we've always wanted to do something together. Always. I said the other day, I was tired too, so I don't even know how it came out. But I said the other day, I would imagine that when we were kids, we played something like this together at the house, But we had always wanted to do something together, and it kind of just turned into this. I had kind of always wanted to have I've done decorating. I've always wanted to have a retail space with a consulting area, and she loved the idea of having a restaurant. It was imagined a little bit different, but it kind of morphed into this together. So,
speaking of when you were young and playing together, does doing something like this, I mean, sisters are great. I think I don't have a sister, but I know, having 2 daughters, it can be a little contentious from time to time. How's it going with running a business and building a business? I mean, clearly you still get along, but I mean, there's got to be moments where you're like at the kind of the end of your tether at all, or no?
I mean, we get along great. We resolve conflict well. We just communicate if we have a, don't see something the same way. We're friends besides being sisters. I think if we weren't sisters, we would be friends. We have a pretty big circle of mutual friends. We just grew up also in a home there was never conflict. We never saw our mother angry. We never saw our grandparents angry. They were a big part of our lives. So we just work things out, and we do have disagreements. We don't always see eye to eye, but we also resolve it like normal people.
Yeah,
or maybe not normal people, I don't know.
I would add to that there would never be anything big enough to be worth our relationship ever. So it wouldn't matter what it was. It would never trump our relationship ever.
I tell friends of mine that I grew up in Disneyland. I won the parent lottery. We were no drama family. No drama, no fights, no nothing. And I'm very blessed for that. But man, this place is absolutely stunning. Who designed this? Was this something you had pictured in your head, or did you go to someone and go, tell me what we need to do here?
Every bit of it is us. Every bit of it is us. But it kind of... that is one thing we actually haven't disagreed on one time. The way we both imagined it exactly this way.
I think probably from all of our travels, we we know when we travel things that we love, or also spaces that we love. Our choice for design in our homes is quite different, both lovely but way different. But we just came together in 100% unison on every detail of this building, inside and out.
And we trust each other too on that. Like I would trust any decision she would make in this area, and it's mutual. Yeah.
Well, when you approach it or you see it from the front, I mean, everything is special. The logo, the appearance of your daughter did?
Is a lawyer with a graphic design degree, and she designed our logo and our branding. Yeah.
Wow. No, it's stunning. I mean, everything about it speaks. It gives the appearance that it's a special place. It's a beautiful place. Maybe it's a little too beautiful. Do I belong here? And I mean that do you really? And it's not like that. It's so comforting and welcoming, but you do get that.
I will say that we were pretty specific and intentional on every single decision, like every decision. And you're going to say, every decision? Yeah, the outlet covers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like we were intentional on every choice.
Well, okay, you walk in and you see these beautiful crystal chandeliers hanging, and this fire pit right smack in the middle of the room, and this beautiful, I guess, concrete floors that are sort of a black and gray checkered with this hunter green walls, and it's the lighting all the way around, the big globes and the beautiful chairs and the tables and all of this. You guys are really good at this.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. I will say we got a lot of this stuff. Most of it is found, or honestly, antique stores, flea markets, marketplace. I mean, a lot of it is found.
Good deal.
Or built.
Okay, repurpose some of it. Okay.
Most of it is.
Most of it.
She's being modest, I will tell you. We found a wall sconce. Do you mind if I tell them? You might get 1,000 orders for a wall sconce.
I'm not doing lighting. So.
We found some wall sconces actually in a picture that we loved, and we could not find the source of them anywhere. We did find some in Texas that were thousands of dollars per, and you can see we have 8 wall sconces. And our electrician was here bending some pipe conduit one day, and my sister says, how do you bend that? And he showed her, and so we bought conduit, and she bent the pipe and bought globes, and we've got about $70 in each of those wall sconces. But part of, I think, the detail too is we grew up very poor, but our mom always had our home. Was hot. It was all of our friends wanted to be there. It was always lovely. It was always clean. She worked all day, every day, full time, had dinner on the table every night. I had very wealthy friends that had sprawling ranches, but their favorite place to be was at our house. And that's kind of what we grew up with, just an environment where it's nice. You don't have to drive to some bougie area and spend $1,000. You can have a nice thing if you use what you've got and be creative. You can have a nice space, you can have a nice bite of food and enjoy your friends and family. And that's exactly kind of wanted to make here is kind of a home feeling. And one of my friends that came to the soft opening, she said, it feels just like I'm eating at your house. And like, that's the best compliment we could get. That's exactly what we were trying to curate here.
That is breathtaking. That says a lot. So the other day and it was day one, and when I approached the counter, Sheri said, you're very brave to come on day one. And I'm like, well, you're very brave to open a restaurant at all, much less. But I said to my husband, I said, let's go lunch. Because a friend of mine had been here for breakfast, and she said, Joy, the figgy toast is killer. And my husband had the breakfast sandwich, Kay Logston, my good friends, Kay and Paul Logston. And I said to my husband, I go, let's go lunch. And he said, where do you want to go? I said, just get in the car. And we start driving over here, and he goes, where are you going? And I said, well, you won't believe it. And it's brand new, and it's day one, and there may be a line all the way around the block. And there were definitely people in line. How many can you seat in here?
Well, in the actual building, not counting outside, I think it's about around 85. And then, of course, we have the covered patio and then the fire pit area. So
I counted on my way in, and I think roughly 30-ish outside. I think it's 30-ish.
Right,
Yeah, and you've got the fire pit. Some of it is covered, some of the outdoor seating. But, man, this holds a lot of people, yet it doesn't feel packed. It doesn't feel crowded. How's business gone in the last 3.5 days?
it has gone more, it has surpassed our wildest dreams. Obviously, there's things we've got to work on. The ticket times are a little long, but the amount of volume our kitchen is putting out, that's to be expected. It's, again, we are just shocked at the community's response. I don't know. We've been at capacity multiple times a day, every day we've been open. We've had to turn people away. I had to stand out in the driveway Monday night or Tuesday night. All the days are kind of running together now, and just say we're full. The staff, the kitchen, the chefs are amazing. We couldn't ask for better staff. We just got so blessed when we got these guys that are in the kitchen, and then our front of house is also it's great. But they were just asking, like, we cannot pump out any more food. There's tickets lined up, the lines to the door, and we just had to start turning people away. There was no seats. So that's how business has gone the last 3 days. And when it's not slammed like that, it's just a steady flow of people all day, which is also the dream. We just couldn't wait to have a place where you could hear life happening and people communicating and dining together, and that's what we're just so excited. I mean, that's the goal, and that's what we're doing.
Well, Renee, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I was in here, like I said, the first day one, Monday, and when I approached the register, I believe it was at the register, the young lady said, I said, this place is gorgeous, and she said, I know. And when I saw this place starting to develop, I thought, I want to work there. I want to spend my time there. I don't know who it was. I would tell you if I knew. I don't remember. But she literally knew a good thing when she saw it. And I think she thought, I want to be a part of that. And you probably had a lot of that.
Yeah, we have. And we, as much as we want to care for the community, we also love caring for our team. Working with young, and we have a couple retired guys that are doing dish that they applied for that job. We love our team. We've been blessed with a great team, but we love nurturing and caring for them just as much as we do the community, and I hope they feel that love. So, yeah.
I think they do. I do. So Sheri has disappeared. She has gone back to the kitchen because, again, you guys we're in the middle of a work day at a working restaurant, a very busy brand new restaurant. Tell me about the order at the counter. That is one place that I was a little confused. When I came in, I looked around and was like, where's the hostess? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You order at the counter. And I actually, when I posted something on social, I had a friend say, do you order at the counter? Or is there a hostess that seats you? What made you decide to do the order at the counter?
Well, part of it is our concept from day one was a casual dining space where people could either get a muffin and a coffee and do studies, or have a business meeting, or a group of ladies could gather and get something and have a small group, or a business meeting, or some young moms could meet with friends and maybe they don't want to buy a whole meal. They might just want to get a pastry or just a cup of coffee or maybe a glass of wine or whatever. And so this casual dining concept, or the quick service dining concept, has not changed from day one. We just wanted to do that in a beautiful space. So I think that has taken a few people off guard, like they expect black tie, or they expect to have a hostess or full service dining. We also feel like the order at the counter leans into the homey, casual atmosphere because the building is so spectacular and the decor is so nice. It's important that it doesn't get stuffy. So it wouldn't be normal to go to a full-service restaurant and order a pastry and have a cup of coffee and linger. And so we want people to come and stay a while. I mean, right now we wouldn't be sad to turn a table when it's at capacity, but the goal is that people could just come and stay a while. They could linger, they could have dinner, and then they could go linger around the fire pit if they want and have a dessert or have a chat with their family. That's some of our favorite things, is when we just see a group of people together, laughing, not in a rush, stopping. We're very intentional about not having any advertising inside on our clothing, no statements, the goal, we tell our staff, the goal in our building, the thing that brings us together is that we're all humans. The humanity is enough of a common denominator to bring everybody together in this building. And so when people can leave everything outside, all the stresses, all the news, all the political statements, and they can just come in this building and connect around what actually matters the most at the end of our life, and that is the connections we make with other humans. And when we see that happening, that's everything to us. And so that's why we went with casual dining. That's why we don't have a full service. So we just want you to come and stay a while.
Well, you nailed it.
Need a part for your fryer, oven, ice machine, or HVAC unit? Arctic Food Equipment has you covered. Hi, I'm Nathan. Our experienced part department helps you find exactly what you need. No guesswork, no stress. From name brand OEM parts to aftermarket specialty solutions, we've got it all. Stop in today at 1501 South Enterprise or give us a call at 417-888-0100.
At Arctic Food Equipment, your success is our business always.
You know what? One of the things that floored me, because everything about this is a special place. The minute you drive up and you see the green grass, I mean, it's just beautiful out there. And the building, and you walk in and you say, I want a glass of tea, or I'll just have a water. And you hand us a glass, a real glass that would break if it hit the ground. It's like a crystal. It's a beautiful glass. That right there. Whose idea was that?
I mean, I just think, again, that's just a nod to how we grew up. We used cloth napkins, and as I got older, I realized we just didn't have the money to buy paper towels. But my mom, we used cloth napkins, and they were folded nice with a nice fork. And again, you can have pretty things, and you can have something that sparks joy, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that, and you just feel special when you use something pretty. So, I don't know, we just kind of looked in our price range. We knew we wanted glass. We loved the sound of the tinkling glass and the china and the silverware, and so we just went with that.
Well, that truly makes you feel special, because I think we've become accustomed to the little paper cup, the little kind of clear, maybe just a short little thing that they hand you if you want water. But here you get this amazing glass. That made an impression on me. And then you have the rolled up fork in the silverware. And I noticed there was no knife with the silverware. I did not need a knife for my salad. I had the Italian salad. My husband did have the smash burger, by the way, which was to die for, and I was going to cut it in half, but I just said, just hand me that thing. I'm going to take a bite. It was fine.
We
But
do have knives available. We were trying to also be considerate of our dish pit. I guess that's what they call it, the dish room. It's a nice room. And also just, we do try not to have as much waste. As, there's a lot of waste in restaurants, just energy, and we're not super crunchy, but we just do want to be mindful of our environment and things. And so we do have knives available. We decided to just roll a fork and a napkin because that's the majority of what's used, and then have the knife and spoon available. We have steak knives available as well for steak, and the steaks are brought out with a steak knife on the tray. But we may pivot from that if we get a lot of feedback on it, but right now it seems like it works. And we just didn't want to do the disposable plastic where everybody grabs their own, and so we just thought a good compromise. It's still casual dining. It still feels relaxed. It's just get a fork rolled up. You have a napkin. The cloth napkin's kind of, again, a nod to our upbringing. But yeah, we do have napkins or forks, spoons, and knives additionally up at the counter for extra.
I like the way you thought this through, though. I mean, you really did put some thought into it. And you're learning. You have to be learning in week one. What are some of the things that maybe you've thought, didn't think about that?
Well, we did not think that we would be at capacity multiple times a day in the first week. We thought, again, that's been the biggest learning curve, as we were staffed for what we would think would be a normal work week. We did bring on some temp help thinking it would be a little busier, but we did not expect and anticipate this amount of volume. So we have ran our little our food lady who provides us our food rep. We've run her legs off running out of food, will calling things, running up to the store when we don't have something. So I think that's probably been the biggest learning curve, is just the mass amount of food we've had to put out with the response of the community. So,
well, when things like this hit social media, everything changes. And we're in the back room, and there are doors here, which you can have a private party back here, a gathering or a meeting, I suppose. But the line is back all the way to the door, and it's 10 minutes till 11 o'clock. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, let's talk about your menu. Let's talk about the food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Are you nuts?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just, we wanted to start and have the full option. We want to see where the business is. If there's business all day, we'll stay this way. But it seems silly in this part of town to try to predict there's nothing like this restaurant. We've been in larger cities where there's some concepts similar, casual dining, and it's a nicer restaurant. But there's really nothing like this in Springfield, in this area. So we wanted to just be open and see where the business is and where we can best serve our community. And so far, it's all day. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner right now, all day. So,
where did you get your menu ideation? How did you come up with that?
Our menu items are all things we have cooked, or my mom has cooked, or we have traveled and tasted and came home and worked up a recipe for it. We both have always, and our mom has always been very hospitable. We've always been the house where people want to gather. We've always loved creating an event or a gathering with food, and most of the figgy toast, for example, is. We were having some friends over, and I'm like, I need an app. What do I got? And I had some baguettes and some goat cheese, and I had some fig spread, and I had some candied jalapenos, and I had some other things. I was like, let's see what this tastes like, and it just kind of was born. And my husband made a bourbon peanut butter syrup one Saturday morning on a lazy Saturday morning, and we loved it, and it's a hit. So that's the syrup on our pancakes and our banana toast. And just all items we've created. My mom's Cajun chicken pasta is the recipe, and then the fried chicken is my mom's recipe. We've tweaked it a little bit to add a little bit of spice to it, but it's something we grew up on. It's one of the most requested things that our kids want, our friends. And then the bowls, the table bowl and the harvest bowl, we have a place in Kansas City called The Russell that we love. You walk to the counter and order. They're just open for lunch, but we had a bowl there that we just loved. We came home and made it, and so it's a little bit different, but similar concept. And so now the bowls are on the menu. We have a harvest bowl and the table bowl. So just things we've always cooked or things we've tasted out and came home and learned how to cook.
What ingredients are in the bowls? I haven't had a bowl yet.
So the bowls have a quinoa base, quinoa rice blend base, and then it has the table bowl has a pulled pork that is a special recipe, and with some feta, some greens, some sauces, and then the harvest bowl is the same concept, but it comes with steak and roasted sweet potatoes, roasted Brussels, with a drizzle. So.
That sounds amazing. And I have in front of me a toast flight. Yeah. Because you have 4 different toasts, and you mentioned the 3 that are here. The caprese, which, what a wonderful idea with the pesto and the mozzarella, the tomatoes, and the balsamic drizzle. And then you mentioned the banana with the bourbon peanut butter sauce. Holy cow. And the figgy, yes, with the figs, and it looks like candied jalapenos. A little sprinkle of, and prosciutto, a little sprinkle of pistachios and the goat cheese. If you can't decide, and there's an avocado toast, which I love. If you can't decide, you can get a flight. What a great idea.
Yeah, because, how can you choose, really?
Well, that's exactly why I came a little bit early, because I'm like, I don't know which one I want, so I'm going to go for the flight, because I was looking closely at your menu. And then you've also you're big on biscuits. You get a basket of biscuits.
Yeah, who doesn't love a good piece of bread and a biscuit in the morning with some butter and jam, or our breakfast sandwich is made with a thick cut, kind of like a pork belly taste, bacon with a little fig spread and an egg and cheese. So, yeah. We're clearly not scared of carbs at the table.
Carbs are the best thing. I love good protein, but there's nothing going on here that I don't love, and I've got a lot of menu to make my way through. Sheri is still missing in action, and one of the employees just came and grabbed her glasses, so she's probably up to her backside and getting stuff ready. Real quick, though, Renee, if you can stick around, what's your lunch? Sheri mentioned to me the other day, she was behind the counter when it was a little bit slower, trying to eat a smash burger. She said to me, the first time I tasted it, I couldn't quit thinking about it.
Yeah, well, I'll give credit 100% on our smash burger to our chefs. We had a smash burger on the menu. I make a simple smash burger at home my kids love. But we just couldn't get it nailed down for the menu. We didn't want anything on our menu that we didn't think was special, because you can get food anywhere, everywhere, all day. We just wanted it to be something we feel like is special. And we just had not, even up until the week or about 3 weeks before we opened, we were kind of like, should we just take it off? And we told the chefs that we hired, they were asking us about the smash burger, and we mentioned what I just told you, and they're like, let us work something up. So we'd kind of given them some ideas. We toyed around with some bacon jam, and so they come out an hour later, had a smash burger prepped, cut in half, and we tasted it and said, that's it, that's the smash burger. So they came up with that, with just kind of what we told them we were looking for, and they nailed it. It has been a hit. The smash burger has been a hit. They did an amazing job.
That is a big, tall, melty, substantial burger.
Yeah, it's a double patty smash burger with cheese, smoked Gouda, bacon jam, some grilled onions, and it's got all the flavor. It's good.
Yeah, I get a little emotional just thinking about it. Because my husband, I said, I hope you get that burger. And he goes, that's what I'm going to get. And I thought, okay, well, then that'll free me up to get a salad. I had a lovely Italian salad. I love your big, deep wooden bowls.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That we also, that's a nod to the Russell place in Kansas City that we love. They serve their bowls and salads in wooden bowls, and we've always loved that. So we knew when we were thinking of a restaurant, we had to do some wooden bowls and trays. We just love it.
I just thought that was great. So you have, I hate to use the word man food, but you have big appetite food. You do a ribeye in here.
Yeah, we do a ribeye. I've done a ribeye at home for a while, and it's always a hit. And ironically, my husband's not a huge steak eater, but the ribeye, I love a good ribeye, and we knew we wanted to put that ribeye on the menu. Yeah, my sister does a smoked salmon at home that's just to die for. They've kind of we don't have a smoker here, so they've kind of tried to recreate that, and they've done a great job doing that. But the salmon is her inspiration, and just everything on the menu just comes from our kitchens, that stuff we've eaten.
This morning, I when I finally, I don't know, my alarm went off about 6:45, and I looked down, and Sheri had texted me at 5:38 a.m. and said, you know, we could probably give you a little time this morning to do your podcast. Did you anticipate the hours?
We knew we would be working a lot of hours in the beginning. I think so. I think so.
Well, you have to if you're in this business and you're open all day long. What time do you open?
We open at 7 a.m. and on Saturdays we're open at 9 a.m.
Talk about you do have a cocktail program. You have a cocktail menu back there. Talk about like your happy hour, things like that.
We don't really have a happy hour right now. We are not a coffee shop and we're not a bar, but we do have some specialty offerings, and we have mocktails as well. You can't have a fire pit without a cocktail. You know, you got to offer something.
And you got wine and things like that for people who might want to come and just kind of relax and sit by the fire pit, like you said. I bet that was just like coming up with all of the food offerings. I'll bet it was fun to come up with those cocktails and mocktails and all the things that. Do you keep your eye on food trends pretty close, or do you just go by what you see and what you like?
We just go by what we like. We haven't really. Well, we've been building this building, and my sister and I did a ton of the actual work. We had amazing, obviously, Grindstone was our contractor. They were amazing, but we took on a lot of the labor to save some money. We did all the interior and exterior painting.
You did it? You guys did it?
Yeah, there's a reel on our Instagram and Facebook of us on a lift. We didn't know how to use a lift. We had to get in. We're like, how hard could it be? But yeah, we're on the lift up there painting all the brick, anything black on. We didn't paint the tan part, the ephes part, but anything black outside, we painted all the flower boxes, all the brick, all the way up. Inside, we had some friends come in from Omaha, a couple of friends to help us get the inside painted, and my husband and Sheri's husband and a friend of ours did all the inside paneling. We've worked our tails off. So the hours, we knew there'd be a lot of hours. I forgot your actual question. I'm so tired.
I did too. No, well, we were talking about the building, and you said that you were doing so much of the painting and the work on it yourself, and you came up with these sconces, which floors me.
Yeah.
And Sheri's not going to be making those for nobody.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think we'll have time.
All right, I want to know one thing. This hood, this is like a 2-story hood over this fire pit in the middle of the room. What do you suppose that thing weighs? Man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. That fireplace, you wouldn't have thought. It kind of became our problem child, to be honest. I don't know that we would do it again, but we just always thought, why a 3-sided fireplace when you could have 4? Why can't more people gather around the fire? And so we just said we wanted a 4-sided fireplace. We didn't know that it was going to be very difficult to have a 4-sided fireplace built, but our GC found a company in Minnesota willing to try it. And they fabricated it and had it shipped on a truck from Minnesota, and then they had to figure out how to get it through the ceiling without it, falling. And it's been a process. It's been a process. So the people in Minnesota said they don't know of another one like this in the world. They have even trying to find, when they were fabricating, they cannot find another fireplace like this one. So it's definitely a rarity. So.
I could see it from the parking lot. I parked on the west side of the building, and as I was walking up the building to the patio, I could literally see the fire burning inside through the window. And I'll bet at night, it's just amazing. And I love the lights you have strung outside. I mean, you really thought of everything.
Yeah, we did. We're all about the details. We painted our ductwork gold. We painted the fire joints that are red. We painted those gold. The contractors and the subcontractors, they were pretty amused by us. But at the end of the day, they were like, wow, that makes a difference. So,
talk about your little retail. It's a little bit like a store up front when you come through the front doors. What you got in there?
We just got some chalk cheese, how do you say it?
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes, yes, some tchotchkes and some purses, some little home decor, some kids items. We do have some vintage items that we've been collecting to add to it when we have some time. But I just feel like who doesn't love a good meal and a good, little pick-me-up. So we just and my sister has always wanted to do some retail stuff, so we just worked it in. So.
Well, when I was standing there in line, and here comes more people through the door, I'm telling you, this is just madness. I love it. I stood there and I thought, well, when I leave, I'm going to go over there and shop and look around. Didn't do that. Went out the other door because I wanted to see your patio. And then my husband and I walked all the way around the building to take a look at these silos. And you also own this one over here to the west, right?
Yes, there used to be a building joining the silos, which honestly we didn't know much history about the silos until we bought them. We've just seen them our whole lives. But there's quite an amazing story. The man that did these, he was kind of before his time. He built a multi-level building with an elevator, which is one of the first in our nation, and they actually exported more flour to France and other places more than they did domestically. So it's pretty interesting kind of a concept, and it kind of gave us some inspiration when we decided to do something that we'd never done before. If he could do that, we could do this. So, but yeah, the retail, there's not a lot in this area. If you want to pick up a little something for a friend or a hostess gift or boss's day, or you're meeting for a birthday party, you could just grab something here. And there's certainly nothing in this area that you could pull up to the door and do that. We do have some 5-pound apparel. There's some other great local places. We love downtown Springfield. But sometimes if you're in a hurry, you just got to pull up and get something. And so we just wanted to have that offering too. We love a good shop. So
the silos, if you could do anything in the world you wanted to with those, what would you do when you lay at bed at night and think about what can we do with those? What goes through your head?
The one thing that we've thought about since we've realized they're not, there's a lot of walls inside, which you wouldn't expect. And so when you start cutting into those walls is when it could compromise the structure. So we've thought about maybe a rooftop bar or a rooftop high-end restaurant, a little more with the more hostess and seated, service down the road. Maybe if I could do anything, I would think a clear elevator that goes through, and as you're going up, you could see into the silos, and maybe some art that shows the history of the things. There's a huge, it's huge, probably 2 or 3 story red scale, flower scale that's still in there. I think that would be amazing to do something like that. Or
so maintain the history of it and the appreciation of what it did and how many people it employed and how many people it fed over the years, but at the same time make it something awesome. So maybe make it to where you can see what's going on the inside, but put the good stuff on the top.
I think that if we did ever do something, it might have to be something like that just for the structure. Yeah.
How many days a week are you open?
We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And at some point, we're hoping that we're not going to have to both be here all day, every day. We'll have a shift. She'll take first, I'll take second, and then we'll switch after a couple of weeks. And she just got a new grandbaby, her first one. I've got 6 grandbabies. She's got her first one in October. Actually, the week we opened, her daughter-in-law went into labor a few weeks early. So it's been a big month for us, or for our family, especially her. So.
I'm glad you have a day off. I honestly hadn't looked. This would be a wonderful Sunday place to show up for a brunch. Not that I'm trying to give you ideas, but you're looking like, let's cross your mind.
We're right next to a church for one thing, and we know how the Christians like to eat. So we are Christians and we like to eat.
Amen.
So we know that we are taking a loss, but we also know that it's important to have a day with our family and a day for worship. So we're just going to keep closed. So we do have some people have asked if they could rent us out for the holidays, but on a Sunday for work parties and stuff, and we're going to accommodate a couple of those, but
you could do a private party if you wanted. You could maybe get this back room for a birthday or something.
Yeah, this not right away because we need the seats, but you can reserve this room for free, and it holds up to 38 people. So
okay. I don't have the slightest idea where Sheri is.
Well, they're calling me in.
They're calling you in here too. Okay, so Renee Textor, thank your sister Sheri Perkins for all you've done here at this beautiful, beautiful spot called The Table. God bless you. Thank you for this.
Thank you for the time and for the mention. We appreciate you.
All right, go to work. You go, girl. All right, bye-bye. Be sure to go to AroundTheOzarks.com to sign up for our daily newsletter where you can get every episode of Savor the Ozarks, plus all our other podcasts, events, and contests straight to your inbox. And what are your favorite dishes in the 417? You have any restaurants you'd like me to visit? Email me at joy@AroundTheOzarks.com.